right, man, let's talk. So, Luka Doncic, he will not be playing versus the Detroit Pistons Monday. I think it's March 22nd. I think it's March 22nd. He got a 16th technical, I believe, against Orlando Magic. No Cade, no Luka. The Lakers are on a real heater. You know, they have won 8 straight. I think they last loss, if my memory serves me correctly, their last loss was against was against Denver, and they beat Denver in this 8-game winning streak. So, you know, for one thing, it's like, okay, the Pistons dodged the bullet. Not having Luka don't mean they still won't lose or win, or they won't, they lose. But, the fans, hopefully LeBron plays, but it boils down to the fans. The fans want to see this. The fans want to see, want to see Luka and all that. They only come here once a year. So obviously no K, no Luka. That hurts the fanfare. But, the Pistons need some things to start kind of falling in their favor anyway, if we keeping it a bean. They need some things to start falling in their favor. When we start, getting in there talking about, winning games. They need this game. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the Hawks coming up after this, the Pelicans, they need these games. The word on the street is that Cade, in 2 weeks, they're going to evaluate him, see if he can start conditioning drills again, basketball activities, and then he out for the rest of the season. That's the expectation, and they want to prep him and get him ready for the playoffs. Unfortunately, regular season award, MVP, All-NBA, that's off the table. And like I said, I 100% agree with the rule. At the end of the day, you don't come to work. That's becoming a big issue in America. And they're potentially talking about, drafting people in this country. You hear a lot about, we might bring the draft back for the war with Iran. My thing is, you think, you ain't about to have a bunch of people draft dodging. These the same people who don't want to even come to work at Subway. Did y'all know Soulja Boy had to shut down a Subway? He lost a bunch of money because nobody showed up to work. So you think these people about to come in here and really, put some, go draft? You crazy. And my whole solution to the draft thing, one thing I never really thought about it, people don't think about, especially when they were talking about who gonna do the tough jobs that the immigrants don't do as far as in the fields and all that type of stuff, right? What people don't really think about is you got a whole bunch of people in the penitentiary. You go look at that movie Life, they had people out there cropping and they was out there doing agricultural work, Might have been doing some industrial work back then too, You got people in prison, why don't you put them out there? You know what I'm saying? Shave some time, you got all them killers and all them people out in prison, why don't you put them out there? And do that. So like I said, a lot of times, man, America is just backwards. It's built to fail if you really look at the structure of America, but that's for another day, another time, right? You got a nice dog. That's another day, another time. I ain't gonna dig too much into that. But yeah, the structure is for failure, But yeah, you pay, people need to show up to work. A lot of these guys, they not injured based off they not playing based off injuries. A lot of these guys are not playing because of, they don't feel like it. But, unfortunately, you pay all that money for the Lakers coming and, the Lakers don't play. Or some of the guys don't play. So hopefully you get to see Austin Reeves, you get to see LeBron James. That's what you're hoping for. A lot of the young people, they get to see them dudes do their thing. That's what you hope for. So, but, for the Pistons, it could be a break. Jalen Duren is really earning his keep. Dennis Jenkins, he didn't, had his tons of fun with money. And that's just what it is. Everybody ain't going to be hot all season. They're going to have highs and lows. when it comes to the season. And, you know, his low just came after he got his bread. And that became a major issue, and now he hooping again. So this Cade injury might buy, hopefully, Cade some fresh legs. It may buy, Dennis Jenkins. It might get him into a rhythm. You might see LeVert getting into a rhythm. So that's one thing that, it might be a positive out of it. But if they're expecting Cade Cunningham to come back, in the playoffs, hopefully he get his win back. Hopefully he get his legs back. He should be fresher. But, yeah, no Luka is wild. So they might rescind that 16th technical, though. They might, but they might be like, the Pistons ain't got Cade. Hey, let them miss the 16th game. Let them get it. Let them, take a break or something like that. We won 8 straight. I mean, don't matter where we go in the playoffs. We like our chances with Luka and Reeves and LeBron. So they might just maybe looking at it more of a maintenance day. They might be looking at it more of a maintenance for Luka. And for Cade, it may boil down to maintenance. He healthy, so then let's get him doing basketball activities and see where this collapsed lung is at. So but I don't think you make a permanent decision on a temporary feeling when you talking about Cade and his injury. You feel like he got many, many years ahead of him, So if they shut him down, they shut him down. They look forward to next year. But for the NBA viewership wise, they better hope he able to come back. Real talk. You better hope he able to come back, but hey, if he ain't, he ain't. But they basically saying they was happy it wasn't a broken rib in there. So glad that ain't a broken rib. So we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, no Luka. Just seems like when they come to Detroit, people are like, oh no, we don't want to play there. And remember, they voted that Detroit has some of the most obnoxious fans. Remember that? And I'm saying that nicely. So that was a nice little saying. So a lot of people don't like playing here. So but so be it. But they love taking that money when they get their check. They love taking the fans' money. But it is what it is. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop video. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist for more videos like this. Peace.